You know how we do this thing called being alive? Yeah, it's something we think about a lot. We thirst for knowledge. We look around us and study the universe. As far as beyond the stars or as close as our own backyard. Every aspect of life has been questioned in some form or fashion at some point in time. This is exactly what makes us unique. For all the different forms of life on Earth, we are the only ones known to question and investigate existence itself. At first glance, finding purpose seems to be our purpose. For every question we answer, 10 more arise. We can explain the use and purpose of our human biology. We know why our hands operate the way they operate. We know why the cells in our body act the way they act. When we break things down into their individual use as a tool, we can understand and identify why it is. We have feet so we can walk. We have brains so we can think. We have eyes so we can see. Every individual part of your body has a purpose. But then, why are we? What is the purpose of having all those parts together? The liver itself isn't conscious. It can't want to live for living's sake. Neither can your lungs, or your stomach, or, except, maybe the brain? But even the brain is made up of multiple parts. The point I'm getting at can easily be summed up by the statement, when we study the universe, we can explain how it is, but we cannot explain why it is. By far, the greatest unsolved question is the meaning of life. I can sit here and look at my screen, pondering the things that I see. I go about day by day, doing mundane tasks that fulfill no greater purpose. So much of life is empty. The things we do will be forgotten. Almost nothing I do has any lasting reason. Why do we make goals and strive for them and want a family and keep pushing through life despite how utterly meaningless so much of it can seem? Yeah, that's tough. But who hasn't thought like that at some point? You want things to be important. Sometimes it's hard to just live in the moment and enjoy whatever it is you're doing. I woke up and checked Twitter, but it didn't matter. I forgot what I saw anyway. I got up and watched a YouTube video, but it didn't matter. I forgot what I saw anyway. I had a delicious lunch and thoroughly enjoyed my food, but it didn't matter. I forgot what I had that day anyway. So much of our lives is lived in the moment, and it has to be. I understand that. But what about the moments we do remember? We want to create as many meaningful memories of happy moments as possible. So let's say you live the perfect life and enjoy and remember every moment. But it didn't matter. You died and people forgot about you anyway. If the meaning of life is the pursuit of happiness, then nothing really matters in the end. We all die, and so will the universe. But is that really it? Is that all we get in the end? What was the point of this whole universe even existing if it doesn't matter in the end? To what end was everything meant to achieve? And that's why the meaning of life is absolutely the most important question you could ever possibly ask. The philosophy you choose will greatly impact your life. If life is purposeless, then it doesn't matter what you do. But if life does have a purpose, then anything you do might be important later on. And I would be lying if I told you that I didn't want my actions to have importance. So where do we go from here? Well, let's look at our options. There are 3 main questions you have to ask when figuring out the meaning of life. Each one is equally important. Where did we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going when we die? How you answer those questions will determine your life philosophy. There's only one problem. Everybody has a different answer. Where do I even begin? Is there a multiverse? Are we in a simulation? Is there a specific religion I need to consider? Who has the answer? What is even going on? Everybody is doing so many different things I can't just believe them all. There would be way too many inconsistencies and contradictions. Now what? The problem isn't simple at all. There are way too many factors to consider when judging questions like these. It's not as if I can just sort every answer into one of 2 groups. Or could you? It won't be perfect, but doing so could help us clear up this confusion. Let's start with the first question and see how this works out. First question, where did we come from? How many options are there really? Well, either somebody made the universe, or nobody made the universe. If nobody made the universe, then the universe made itself. This is really just a debate about whether the universe has an intelligent designer or the universe happened by chance. And I wouldn't make a decision without giving it a lot of consideration. Admit it, both options are ridiculous, but so is the universe. Someone that is a theist is someone who believes that there is a designer. Someone who believes in pure chance is known as an atheist, defined as someone who believes there was no designer. Someone who is an agnostic believes that it can't be known one way or another and doesn't necessarily choose either option. Second question, why are we here? This question itself is clearly affected by the first question, where did we come from? As if there is a higher power or greater intelligence, then the reason we are here would be to serve the will of this God. But if there is no God, then the reason we are here would be to serve the will of man. If God made us, then whatever reason he made us for is the one we should be concerned about. If God wants us to do something, then we should do it. But if there is no God, then we don't have anyone watching over us. We can only fend for ourselves and make the best of what we have. We'll have to work hard to ensure our future generations stay safe. But with the same mindset of believing there is no God, then anything goes. You will not be punished for whatever you do. If nothing matters, it's okay to just do whatever makes you feel good, whether it's considered to be moral or not. And at the end of the day, we have a keen sense of justice. But if everybody makes up their own morality, then there can be no set standard, and anything goes as long as the majority believes it's okay. Third question, where are we going when we die? This is by far the hardest one to answer. If we're going by what science can tell us, then all we know is that our bodies die and we lose consciousness. But assuming there isn't a God, how do we know for sure that there aren't things beyond our scientific detection? Maybe we go into another dimension of reality. Maybe we wake up as if everything we had just experienced was a higher form of dreaming in a more realistic world that isn't even comprehensible to our current state of living. Maybe we are just a lower form of life and don't truly understand the universe, like how an ant has no clue what the things in our world of modern science and technology are. But for the sake of argument, we'll just stick with the usual answer on this side, which is that we go unconscious. But then, what about the other side? What if there is a God? Well, then we can safely say that we'll go wherever God wants us to go, whether that's any conceived form of an afterlife, or unconscious, even. So for this one, it's a lot more subjective. Whatever your opinion is can be your opinion. But I wouldn't just make the assumption that nothing happens after we die. There is so much we don't know about our universe that it's practically impossible to truly get a grasp on how special this whole thing is. To break it down from the beginning, where did we come from? God created the universe, or the universe created itself? Why are we here? To serve the will of God, or to serve the will of man? Where are we going when we die? Where God wants us to go, or we go unconscious? This, in my opinion, is the most simple way to break things down in a reasonable fashion that can be understood by most. And maybe you disagree with me about it, which is fine. For the sake of adding to the conversation, here's a little thought experiment for you. Do you know everything in the universe? No, of course not. Do you know half of everything in the universe? Well, no, how could I? Sure, but let's assume you know half of all things in this universe. Is it possible that God exists in the half you don't know? Using God in this scenario is a good example, but it can be replaced by just about anything. Who knows, maybe Santa or the Tooth Fairy lives in the half you don't know. That's not to say everything is subjective, but more to say that there isn't any one individual person here on Earth with all the answers. Everyone can be and is right and wrong about something. You know things that are true, and you think things that are false. You think that the things you think are true, but are actually false. Consider the heavens, for there is much more to life than just what we do here on Earth. I've heard a lot of people talk about the meaning of life, and they usually give a cop-out answer. They say we find our own purpose in the things we do in the life that we live. I say it's a cop-out answer because by the time the universe comes to an end, those things won't matter. Yes, it's important to live a full life, being the best person you can. I wouldn't disagree with that. But I can't see how that could define all of life from the beginning of the universe to its end. So what do I think? I've tried my best to stay objective, but I'm a human, so it's nearly impossible to get everything correct on a subject like this. But I don't think life's ultimate end here in this universe, in this time, will be all that it's good for. In my opinion, things cannot exist without reason. I look around me and everything has a use, or a purpose, or a reason to be there, even if we say otherwise. We can say something has no purpose, but we can't know for sure. If you identify something that you believe has no purpose, then there are two options. Either it has no purpose like you say, or you just don't know what its purpose is yet. My line of logic follows through like this. We must have reason, for we wouldn't exist without reason. The fact alone that we can ask what the purpose of life is makes me think that there has to be one. Because why would we exist if we didn't have a purpose? Is it possible for existence to serve no goal at all? By my thinking, everything has a goal. We have goals, plants have goals, animals have goals. We can give other things goals. We can give machines different goals. Why can't our universe also have a goal? In conclusion, live your life to the best of your ability. Take up the things that are important. Get rid of distractions and find time to ponder life. Be optimistic, because nothing can be accomplished without at least a little bit of hope, and hope requires optimism. And I hope that my life as I know it has more value than being an invisible dot in the background of our universe. Whether I'm going to heaven, going unconscious, or going wherever else, I can definitely say that I have enjoyed my time here with you all, and hope to meet every one of you at some point, whether that would be in this life or in the next.